Every time you turn around, it seems like everyone's trying to get their hand in your pocket. And no, not for anything good. Everybody's trying to get a nickel out of your pocket. We're going to talk about how companies and organizations are trying to get more of your hard-earned money. But are they really providing value for that? Let's talk about it. This time on Weiss Thoughts.
The following is a Terry Weiss production.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the program. Welcome to Weiss Thoughts. I am Terry Weiss, your humble host, and I'm glad you decided to join me for our virtual campfire sit-down. Let's get the house cleaning duties out of the way right away, shall we? Got a website, weissthoughts.com, W-Y-C-E. Just make sure you spell my name right, weissthoughts.com. There you can listen to each and every episode of the podcast. Check out the video channel on YouTube called Weiss Thoughts there as well. And hey, while you stop by, would you leave us a rating and a review? Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your pets about Weiss Thoughts. It's all at weissthoughts.com. And if you want to reach out to me, I am on social media. You can look for me on X. I used to say tweet on Twitter, but look for me on X. And it is at Terry Weiss. A little late coming in there, Mr. Producer Extraordinaire, with the intro. Got a lot on my mind this week. A lot's been going on. And by the way, how are you? I hope you're well. And I'm glad you've decided to join me for this episode of the podcast. I truly appreciate each and every one of my listeners from wherever in the world you are listening. And you know, it never fails. You get in the studio, you want to record something, your nose itches, your ear itches, your nose starts running. Your throat gets a little froggy. Ribbit. I'm going to take a little sip of carbonated beverage here, water, sparkling water. Yummy. And sparkling water, that's it. Nothing else. No other adult-type additives to that. But welcome to the program. Welcome to Weiss Thoughts, and I shall reiterate, I am so glad that you are here to join me for our virtual campfire sit-down. Now, as I talked about in the opener, I've come across this, and it's just something that really is irritating me, and I wanted to talk to you about it today on the podcast. And the reason this has come to the forefront for me, and it's been sticking in my mind as of late, is because it's that time of the year where I have to renew certain subscriptions to things I use here in the Weiss Thoughts podcast and my voiceover business, also at the Purple Pit Studios and at the production and media company. And when I see the amount of money that I am shelling out for these services, I am starting to really do a value cost analysis. I guess that would be the easiest way to say it. I'm really trying to give it a value cost analysis and saying, is this really worth it? Do I really need these things? Do I need that service? And what I'm finding is they got you. You know, maybe part of it is just because I'm lazy. I hope that's not the case. I mean, I'm really trying to say, do I really need these things? And what I'm mainly talking about, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate out there, is these subscription models. Remember when you used to buy a software program and that was it? And you got maybe a year or two worth of updates, and then they say, hey, we got version blah, blah, blah coming out. And then you would decide to pay a small fee to upgrade. Well, now every other company on the planet wants you to pay a subscription. Subscribe. Now, here's one of the major problems I see with subscription models. And before I give you that, let me back up a little bit. These companies and organizations say, well, if we get a monthly fee from each user, then we can put that towards innovation and making sure the product's up to date with the latest updates and compatibility for your computer system and your laptop and your camera and your microphone and your mixing board and blah, 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 blah. To a point, I can maybe see that. But if you're in a business for software, shouldn't you be working on these things anyway, irregardless of how much revenue stream is coming in? Please correct me if I'm wrong. But on the flip side of that, okay, my thought process, and please leave in the comments section of the podcast or email me at terry@weissthoughts.com. You can reach me at terry@weissthoughts.com if you have a comment, or even give me a shout out on X about this particular episode of the podcast. You used to buy the software, you got your 1 or 2 years worth of updates, and you own it. And here's where I take umbrage with subscription models. If you stop paying that subscription, you're done. Your shit doesn't work. Okay? Excuse me, that frog again. It's not like in the olden days where if you bought version 5 of XYZ digital audio workstation for recording on your computer, audio and that, if you bought version XYZ, version 5.0 of XYZ DAW, digital audio workstation, and then, you got your updates for a couple of years, and then all of a sudden, they come out with version 6, and you could decide, well, you know what? I'll wait for version 7. And version 5 does everything I need it to do. And you don't upgrade. Well, version 5 still works on your computer. Version 5 was still working with all your stuff, all your current equipment you have, your current operating system, and things of that nature. Where on a subscription model, if you don't pay that monthly or yearly or semi-yearly fee, your stuff just stops working and you got nothing. Only the past projects you did with it. You got nothing else to show for that except the money you invested to keep that software, air quotes, active and up to date on your system. And that really just, it doesn't sit that well with me. How about you? Now, I know some of you are going to, and one of the first software programs I thought of with regards to digital audio workstations was Reaper. Reaper has a great program, and I'm actually exploring Reaper right now, in that you get to use it for a couple months, fully featured, no restrictions whatsoever. There's just a little, they call it a nag screen. It pops up for about 5 seconds. Hey, would you like to purchase? Just so you know, this is paid, you pay for this, etc. And then it goes away, and it still allows you, it doesn't put any kind of watermark on anything, whether digitally, audio, visual-wise. You get the full features of the software. Now, I have heard rumors, and I don't know if this is the case, and I do not condone this, but after that free trial period is up, if you don't purchase it, you can still use it with the nag screen. It just goes away. Now, and again, I am not telling you to do that because that's wrong. There's people that, put their sweat equity into the development of this software, which is really functional, by the way. It's really nice from my initial dealings with it, and it's very powerful. And there's a lot of customizability. You can customize Reaper, the digital audio workstation. It works on Apple products, Mac OS. It works on Windows. It works on Linux. It basically works on everything but a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, from what I can see. So that's a good thing as well. And their pricing seems very, very fair. I mean, if you're an individual or a small business that's not, running a lot of machines and a high dollar value, you can pay like $60 and you own it for, I believe it's 2 full complete updates, Mr. Producer. Is that correct? 2 versions of the software all the way to the next one, but still $60. And if you decide you don't want to upgrade, you can keep the other version and keep going like we talked about in the opening of the program, which is great. Now, if you're a bigger business and you have, higher volume income in that, I believe it's like $230 or $40, but still, very, 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 very reasonable in today's market for a full featured digital audio workstation with very powerful capabilities and the ability to customize it and make it operate just the way you want and look the way you want. It reminds me of Pro Tools Lite, per se, and there's nothing really light about Reaper. And again, I'm not a shill for Reaper. I'm not getting paid by them or anything. I'm trying their software out. I'll take another quick sip here. I don't know why I think it's allergies, why I'm so dry and I sound a little nasally. But I don't like taking all kinds of medication when I come in to record for you folks, because then I don't know, sometimes I just feel like, woo. Anywho, so, with Reaper, we're almost back to that how things, I think, should be and should have remained. Now, I use other more powerful digital audio workstations. I use Adobe Audition, and we all know what Adobe did with their privacy policy and things of that, how they kind of stepped on their genitals over the summer here, and maybe they'll clean up their act. I mean, here's the thing, my friends, with regards to your privacy and the internet, people say, well, your stuff's getting sold left and right. I mean, even if you opt out and that it's still, okay, you can press a little button that says, no, please don't do that. They're doing it. So I would say whatever you're producing and making, as long as it's not illegal, in that nature, it is what it is. Just like when you take photos and you put them in the cloud, whether it's Apple or Dropbox or the Google cloud system, guess what? All your shit can be seen by everybody anywhere if they want to hack into it, or the government. Everybody can get into it. All right, no matter what they tell you. Oh, we're strong and we're encrypted. Baloney. I don't believe it for a minute. You know what's strong and encrypted? The photographs you take on an old type of camera that you have in your home and you only show to people you want to show them to. That's encrypted. Okay. This other stuff about digital security, I don't know. I don't ascribe to that. Maybe I'm wrong. And again, please let me know in the comments section if you think I am. Oops, hit the microphone there. Let me know in the comments section if you think I am wrong, if there is truly a secure platform out there. But honestly, when you're putting it out there, it's the Wild West still. I mean, there's the dark web, and there's hackers, and there's, people that just stumble across stuff. Then you got government entities that want to get in and know everything about you. There's advertisers out there and corporations that want to know everything about you. And I know I'm sounding out very crass and negative right now. It's just something, like I said, over the past week or so. Actually, it's been a few weeks. It's been on my mind here and there. And I just wanted to talk about it on this episode of Weiss Thoughts, the podcast here today with you. So, and there's video software that does the same thing now. Now, I am a Mac user mostly. I do use Windows here and there and some very light Linux programs. But primarily, I do use the Mac operating system because I have found it with audio and video production to be very stable, less likely to have issues with viruses and Trojan horses and things of that nature. Knock on some wood here on the desk. However, that being said, I do use video production software from them that I had purchased called Final Cut Pro. I do own also Logic Pro. Now, those are two programs that I paid each consecutively $300 for a few years back, and have continued to Apple's, good graces, continue to receive updates for, and they haven't asked for another nickel out of my pocket on either one of those. And those are very powerful tools. Okay, Logic Pro is, and so is Final Cut Pro. A lot of stuff is made with both those software programs for audio and video. And there's a lot of other programs Apple offers that you can pay one price, and then if you want certain add-ons, they haven't fully gone that subscription model yet with their software with that. Thank goodness. And Apple, don't do it. Please don't, because I think you would alienate yourself with a lot of your customer base if you do. There's a lot of us loyal Apple people out here that like the fact that we can pay one price for those programs and get continual innovation and updates as they come along. So, it's just like it just gets aggravating, I guess, to me sometime. How about you? What do you think? Does it get aggravating to you that anytime you want to buy something, someone wants to just stick their hand in their pocket and get every last nickel? Another thing, the streaming services. Okay, I know those have to be subscription-based because of the type of media delivery, but holy crap. You used to get a price increase maybe once every couple years with streaming service providers. Now, it went to yearly, and now sometimes it's twice a year, some of these streaming providers. Are they even worth it anymore? Or should we all go back to cable? Honestly, the masses went and left cable because cable kept every year raising and really weren't providing any more value-added services for that money. They said, well, infrastructure, cost, overhead, we got to pay. Well, that's the cost of doing business, okay? You companies out there, that's the cost of doing freaking business. If you want to be in business, it's not all money raining down from the sky on you. You have to spend money to make money. And you're not going to be blowing it out of the water every quarter in your profits. That's just life. It's just life. But the streaming services have caught on because everyone flocked to the streaming services and said, oh, and then the streaming services put out a couple original programs which were, successful. And there's a lot of them out there that are. And a lot of them they managed to snag some programs that network television gave up on. Longmire on Netflix is one. There was that other program there. There's many shows that have the networks, the regular television networks gave up on that went to streaming platforms and were pretty darn successful. And again, some original programming on there as well. That being said, these streaming platforms then started wanting to do movies and became production houses and hired, production teams and formed production companies, and that under their name of their streaming platform. And they've produced some real good content, but they've produced some real shit too. Okay. And the main crux of this is what I'm saying is like every time you turn around, they're raising their prices now. So what's the real value? I've been an Amazon Prime subscriber for got to be well over a decade now. I remember when Amazon Prime was just getting the 2-day free shipping, and they had very limited video content. Well, they kept upselling and not upselling, but upgrading their video content more and more, et cetera, et cetera. Well, the latest little thing that Amazon did, Jeff Bezos and company, was now, if you do not want to see commercials in Amazon Prime, you got to pay an extra $5 a month. To hell with your loyalty for 10 years, Terry. Screw your loyalty. If you don't want to sit through, 15 drug commercials before every program you want to watch, give us more money. And they kept raising the price, which I understand. I am not some spinster out in, the woods living in a cave thinking I'm just going to pay $5 a month for the next 35 years. I understand. Costs change. Technologies develop and morph. And you need sometimes to raise your prices a little bit because your costs to you as a business to operate increase. I get that. But it wasn't like Amazon wasn't raising prices here and there over the years, which they did. But now, to ask, I think, the public to pay an extra $5 to just not see commercials to watch that. And while we're on Amazon, what the hell happened to 2-day shipping on a lot of their, almost all their products used to be 2-day shipping. Now you're lucky if you get your stuff in a week sometimes. You get every excuse under the sun, from my dog ate it to we think we shot it into orbit with Elon Musk on the SpaceX. So there used to be, an expectation, paying for the service and the goods that they would get there in 2 days. But now they just come along, slap you in the face and say, shut the hell up, sit down and take it. And if you don't like it, oh, well, tough crap. I don't know. And where's the oversight? Where's the oversight? Our government loves to get into our lives upside down and sideways and know everything we're doing. Where's the oversight by, the authorities on these pricing increases. In some case, I would dare say price gouging. I'm talking from YouTube TV, Fubio, Sling, all of them, DirecTV Stream, all of them right on down the line, Netflix, all these places that are just seem to be gouging the consumer. Maybe what we need, maybe I could start the cry and the call. Maybe we just need a 1 month blackout of all these services. Just cancel your service, and for 1 month, don't watch them. Maybe put their feet to the fire a little bit. I don't know. Maybe it is time for a little bit of a public backlash against the constant, price increases on things. Maybe learn to live without them and call their bluff. I've cut a couple services and called their bluff and said, you know what? I don't need you. And I've walked away. I've walked away from a couple things and said, better off for it, honestly. But it's like, and I understand, believe me, don't get me wrong. I'm a businessman myself. I understand you have to look for new revenue streams, new ways to, keep your business afloat, especially in an ever-changing economy and economic situations that arrive, and especially in the digital economy. I get it. You've got to innovate or your butt's going to be left behind. I totally get that. I do marketing almost on a daily basis here. So it's not for my lack of, just being the average person out here in the public. I can just imagine what you out there think, average folks out there. We're paying more for everything: groceries, gas, utilities, insurances, clothing, you name it. We're paying more for it now with this record inflation that we've been having. And saying that, our costs have gone up, only can go so far. Only can go, instead of paying, $1 million or $100 million, I should say, instead of paying $100 million to produce a little Netflix series, how about you tell these people, well, you know what, we can afford 50 and that's it. And this is how we're going to do it. And if not, oh, well. Some of these people at these corporations got to hold themselves accountable too, hold their feet to the fire and, be a little more responsible. But who knows? We're in an excess world. It's not just here in the United States. It's all around the planet that we want it, and we want it right now. And we want more of it, and we want it delivered quicker. So maybe in retrospect, we have no one but ourselves to blame for the economic abuse we're being pummeled with. I don't know. But it just seems like, in the software world and in the entertainment world and such, certain things, we are just, they're looking for more ways to get their hands in our pockets. Hey, thanks for listening to the program today. I truly appreciate each and every one of you out there. And remember, to see a change in the world, you have to be the change in the world you want to see. It all starts with you, the person looking back at you in the mirror every morning. Remember to be kind to yourself, be kind to others. If you want to tweet at me on Twitter, it's at Terry Weiss. Stop by the website, weissthoughts.com, just to make sure you spell my name right, W-Y-C-E, weissthoughts.com. And hey, leave us a positive rating and review on your favorite podcast provider, won't you? Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your pets about Weiss Thoughts. And I look forward to gathering yet again around the virtual campfire with you real soon. Take care.